It's the Blue Futon. You know my name. I'm not even going to say it anymore. Forget you guys. But out of the box today is... Oh, we got a DVD today. SiREN Unrated. Interesting. Huh. Have I seen this? No. I think it's a werewolf movie. And I also love me some werewolf movies. So let me go watch SiREN. Now I'll let you know why it is called SiREN. Because I don't know. Alright, I just got done watching SiREN. So what is SiREN about? It's about 4 friends wanting to get married, bachelor party. Instead of going to Vegas, they go to, I think, a place called Ramble City, something city. They go to the first strip club, and the strip club is a bust. Of course, they find a guy, and the guy's like, I know a place. It's in the woods. And the guy's like, heck yeah, let's go to the woods. That's always a good idea. No, it's not. Ever. Anywho, they go to the woods, and one of the friends gets a so-called lap dance with a girl behind a cage. But it's not really a lap dance, it's a girl singing, and it's in his head, some weird stuff happening. So the guy walks by her, and he's like, oh wait, it looks like there's sex trafficking or human trafficking, so let me unlock this. And that's where the movie goes, because that is not a girl. It's something with a tail and wings. Then it turns to a weird wing movie with tails and wings and stuff. So what is good about the movie? It's an interesting premise, and I kind of like the whole environment and the look of the place where they actually go to. It's kind of unique, had a fun camera work to it, and a different approach. The bad, even though it's a different approach, it is different approaches from different movies, like 3 movies in one, and they try to make it work, and it kind of doesn't on any level. There is some humor in it, but this reminds me of Splice mixed with other monster movies and other demonic possessions, and just a lot of stuff doesn't make sense. For example, they're at this house and people have masks and weird like zombie faces, and you're like, oh, are they dead? Are they stuck there forever? But they really don't explain that at all. And then let's go to that Splice scenario. If you ever saw Splice, it's kind of like it. But in this one, the girl, or the monster, of course, forces herself on the guy and puts her tail in the sphincter hole. And you're like, oh, it's going there? Anywho, it's really weird. And the ending is kind of anticlimactic. You kind of know what's happening, and you're like, oh, that's how you're ending it. Kind of lazy. But it is a very low-budget movie, as you could tell. It seemed like a bunch of friends wanted to make a cool horror movie, and they tried. The character design of the girl, it was like the tail was very CGI, but the face was actually kind of decently cool looking. So you got to give props to the actual makeup doing that. But the actual story, the backstory of a leech girl head and other stuff, it really doesn't make sense of anything. Like, is it hex? Is it witchcraft? Is it people from the 1800s? Because there was like a black guy, I swear, in a Civil War outfit, and a lot of people with numbs. So it's like they were in the Civil War and they're stuck in this house, I'm pretty sure. But like I said, it really doesn't make sense. I think they're in the northeastern, because I'm pretty sure he said Carson City or something. But the whole atmosphere was like more Louisiana, with the whole, it looked like a plantation. So just the whole sets didn't work. Nothing really matched, but the costume design was kind of cool and the actual look of the place. But when you think about it as a whole, nothing really matches. Nothing makes sense. Where does this girl come from? Who summoned her? The whole movie was just a mess. Didn't make sense. But anywho, and SiREN, I have no idea why it's called SiREN. I really don't. It didn't make sense. So the good about the movie, it looked good. Some good camera work, and I kind of liked the atmosphere. Oh, and there was some humor to it that actually worked in the very beginning. But other than that, lazy writing, just lazy explanations. That's the biggest part of this movie. It doesn't explain nothing. It's all there for looks. It doesn't explain nothing. And that's a huge fault for this movie. And for that, I really can't recommend this movie at all. So SiREN will receive a 1.5 out of 5 Blue Futons, which equals a 30%. Which is a bummer, because I was hoping this was a werewolf movie. It was not a werewolf movie at all. So let me see what Rotten Tomato critics and user scores gave SiREN. Alright, we have critics giving this a 71%, audience score a 38%, and no critic consensus. Other than that, like I said, to me, the biggest downfall is nothing is explained and nothing makes sense at all. And just some weird Splice moments. I really didn't like the movie Splice. This reminded me of Splice. It reminded me of just supernatural stuff that they picked out of like the Supernatural TV show and other stuff, like, oh, we can use this, oh, and a little bit of True Blood, and let's add a leech girl and add this to it. And a lot of it just didn't make sense. You could have all these imageries and it could look cool, which it does, but when you don't explain why this is like this, it's a big fault. So, do you agree with the critics 71%? The user score is 38, or my 30%. This is Chase Stuck at the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of this Blue Futon Utopia. You Blue Futonians. And for reals, I've seen too many movies, and throughout history, if you go to the woods and you go to this crazy plantation house with weird people inside, just don't do it. I don't care if you're on shrooms, if you're high on LSD, if you're high on acid, if you have suppositories in your butthole, just don't do it. No!